want to clean all of this up, right? I want to go ahead, I want to fix up the fountain, pull up some of the alliums. I have some weeds here. I'm going to pull the weeds and I'm going to try to get as much done as I can get done. Yesterday we worked out here until it was time for me to start watering my plants. My entire garden is hand watered. I have a lot of the infrastructure in place to put my garden on drip, and I need to take some time out and actually come in and get my drip set up because it will help me out 100%. So what I have to do is I have to haul everything and I have to go in and I have to start watering at a certain time, especially because I stay in the Midwest, and you guys, our temperatures this week 99, 98, 97, and then with the humidity on top of that, you would think that it would add moisture to the plants, but it actually makes them hunger for water even more. So I have to stop and I have to water all of my containers in the different sections of my garden. But you guys, it just comes with the game. And oftentimes, you guys, I finish up in my garden late at night. What I want to get done next is I want to go in, I want to get this fountain cleaned up. Now, the water does not scare me, you guys. Now, one of the things when you guys have fountains in your garden, you have to always keep the water moving. Now, because I stay in the Midwest and I deal with a lot of humidity, I deal with rain, I deal with quite a bit of algae as well. So I have to constantly put water purifiers to keep my water clear. But also keep in mind that a lot of times if you have a color fountain, sometimes when you're looking directly at that fountain, it may take the color of the fountain, so it may look a little bit worse than what it is. But in this case, you guys, this is what it is. My pump is not working. First step, what you want to do is you always want to check the connection. You want to check to see if it's clogged up. You want to check to see if the electrical is good to the pump. And I don't just mean just test the pump. What I mean is bring in a second extension cord and see if that's the problem. So let's go ahead, let's dig into this now. And I'm not gonna lie, baby, we got snakes. I don't necessarily want to stick my hands in this water, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to get out all the debris and just ruffle the bottom of it, up. If anything is in the bottom, honey, it should jump out. And that was kind of like my reservations of having a fountain with a pool in the bottom of it. I knew I had been wanting one, and it was definitely on my garden bucket list, and I'm not going to let no snakes stop me. Now, maybe if I stay further south, now those are some snakes. These are like garden snakes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm going to get everything out first. And then I'm going to come in and then I'm going to stick my hand in there and see what's going on with the fountain. Why did I snatch off? You guys, look at this. Scandal. But the show must go on. What I am going to do is I'm going to try to go in and troubleshoot the fountain and see what is going on. Got some in my glove. All right, you guys. So, all right, so Let's go in. First, let me disconnect the fountain. The fountain is not clogged up, so now I'm going to check the electrical. Plug this in real quick and I'm going to see what we get. So the extension cord just went bad. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead, let's hook this up real quick. So we got our pump. Now we got to find the tubing here. So this tubing goes up in between there. So I'm just going to take and I'm just going to stuff that in there. Plug this back in and water should start flowing. The water is flowing. Now the only thing I need to do now is I need to go ahead and I need to clean this up. I know a lot of you all might be thinking, or maybe you're not, that you need to change the water out in this fountain. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in now and we're going to use an algicide. By us using the algicide, what that's going to do is it's going to turn our green water to clear water. Now, even if I came in and I drained my entire fountain and put water back in it without having a algicide, you guys, it is going to continue to turn green. And because of my area and where I live at, this is what works for me. Also, I will sometimes let my water go on the green side and I might just come in and just drop a cup of bleach. Some people might have an issue with that. But if you guys are out and you're stranded and there's no water supply, how do you think you would go in and purify the water? Now, I said that to say the protocol, what you would do is you would go in and you would use so many cups of bleach per so much water and you would let it sit, and then when the water is clear, when you can see through the water, you can actually drink through it and hydrate yourself. But that's neither here nor there. What we're going to do is we're going to go in. The water will be clean. Now we have this incredible hydrangea, you guys. We have really large blooms, and you guys can see you have the green blooms, and those are the blooms that are older. Bloom is pretty big. This is one of my favorite hydrangeas. Then you have the newer blooms that are white. This is the biggest bumblebee on here. Let's try to see if we can get in on it. Can you guys see that? Let's try to get closer. So many blooms, you can't hardly see it. Can you guys see it? Right there. You guys see this bush right here? What I'm going to do is I am going to go in and I'm going to cut this back and I'm going to see what's going on in this area. I have learned with these type of hydrangeas, when you have that high humidity that sets in, like that always seems to set in my garden, you'll start to see areas like this, problematic areas. So I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to cut this all the way back down to the stem. Like that. Cut it all the way. Actually, we're going to just take this out. I found the problem. Now it does look a little bit funny. You guys can see how it's looking here. I'm going to go slow, but as you guys can see, there is a row of hydrangea hedges that wrap all the way around. This right here, my friends, is our focal point. Need to weed up underneath the hydrangeas. Now, a lot of times I'll be looking at garden pictures and I'll be like, okay, and it's obvious you can see the weeds. But when you guys have hedges growing in like this, it is inevitable. You are going to see some weeds that either were brought in by a bird that flew in. No garden is without weeds. I don't care what garden it is. It can be the most expensive, luxurious garden that you guys have ever seen. No garden is without weeds. But what I like to do is I come in and I have certain days that I weed. So Wednesday is typically the day that I go in and I weed the different areas of my garden. If I had a larger garden, then I would have certain days plugged out where I would go in and I would do garden maintenance in that area. Since I was gone and I was out of town, my garden is behind. You see the different areas and the different fountains. So make up for the time that we had from the springtime and those 3 weeks where I was kind of just having stuff water here and there to just kind of keep stuff alive. And as you guys can see, not giving water every day to certain one of my containers, they have suffered from that. Let's go in and let's pull some weeds real quick. I have this hydrangea. It does not have as many blooms as it typically have because we had a late freeze. Beautiful spring, but we had those moments where our temperatures were dropping really low. Now, before I left, this area did not look like this, but in that short amount of time that I was out of state, Georgia twice, Chicago 3 times, and that's literally like Chicago, Georgia, back to the St. Louis region, Chicago, back to Georgia, Buckhead, and then back to the St. Louis region, and then back to Chicago. It doesn't take that long for a garden to get out of control. So a lot of times I'll be maybe watching a video and I'll see where people are in the comments just dragging content creators about their garden. You know what? This is what I say. Life happens, and so sometimes you can let things get out of hand. And me personally, I applaud those content creators who are not afraid to show the reality and what's going on. I'm definitely behind. I am severely behind in my garden. Like by now, I would have already came in and I would have had this pruned off to a certain extent. And what I do is I go in and I just slightly just trim back this hydrangea bush in order to control the growth because it's in the pathway. But you guys, if I move out of the way, this is literally a whole entire weed here that I'm getting ready to pull out, and you see it's almost as tall as me. But when you open your life up to people on the outside and they have those comments, don't worry about it. Get down in the comment box, tell me what you think about me letting this garden go like that since I've been absent for the garden, give or take about 3 to 4 weeks. How you feel about it. And then also attached to that comment, let me know, does your garden ever get out of control like my garden is? Now, we are shaping this garden up, but let's go in, let's get this weed out. We got the weed out. Let me show you these containers because the sun is out now. So the quality is going to go down, but you guys, it's bees everywhere here now. You have your super tunias, your super bells, your super bina, or any plant for that matter, any annual, when you let them dry out, this is what you're going to see. See, I have all of this foliage right here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this out, and I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. Going to cut all of this back. Just lightly trim it off. Even like you lift up that underskirt, you can go ahead and cut that out. But all of that will grow back, you guys. Look at this one right here. This one is not too bad. We have the sporadic mohawk. So all we're going to do with these right here is we are just going to cut these out. And that's why I said I'll come back and I'll cut these out. But it's going to take quite a bit of time to get this done. I do my garden spaces. I like to have little hidden treasures. If we come over here, you guys, there's poppy, purple grape poppies just looking so beautiful, so gorgeous, just peeking out. So as you're walking by, you say, hold on now, I didn't realize that you planted grape poppies, but I just have them just kind of just sprinkled out throughout the garden. And I love to do things like that versus just making everything visible, like, hey you guys, I'm a hydrangea, or you know, just adding those little small secret treasures. Like from a first glance when you walk in, you don't necessarily see the angel, but then depending on what angle you're at, then it pops out at you, and then it takes center stage versus the center stage being the fountain here. So let's go have a peek at this poppy here. All right, you guys, look at this beautiful, 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 beautiful poppy. And I have these seeds sprinkled in. Sometimes they'll take beautiful seed pod right there that I'll be collecting and adding to my stash. So if you all see the spent blooms here, you guys can go in and you can clean those out. Like I'm going to try to clean this out really quick without disrupting the bumblebee and making it upset. But yes, totally, by all means, you guys, if you want to come in and just come in and just slightly take it off, it's not mandatory though. So this container is more in the sun versus bumblebees everywhere. So this container is more in the sun versus if we walk over here to the other container, it is shaded a little bit more. I'm telling you, it's like bumblebees all over this. Here is the thing, these are full sun plants. But we have to remember that while I was in Buckhead, we were in the middle of a heat wave at home. That is why you see some of the containers in this area that's stressed, but for the most part, the area still looks gorgeous. I am excited. I'm glad that you guys came along with me on this journey. Got a lot of my chores done. My water is starting to clear up. That's the process. You don't see as many bubbles in there now, but as the water continues to filtrate through the pump on the fountain, then pretty soon the water will be clear. Sometimes it will take a few hours for that to happen. Don't worry about it. Just let it filtrate through before you put any other chemicals in. And as you guys can see, even the water that's running here is starting to be a lot clearer than what it was. I have a small garden. Everyone does not have a ton of space to garden in. And I'm not hating, I'm just speaking the reality and the truth of the matter. So I show you how you can transform these small garden spaces and have a beautiful garden no matter what season, what time of the year it's in. You guys, I put beautiful displays in the springtime, in the summertime, in the fall, and also in the winter. So I'd like you guys to go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so you'll be notified, so you'll never miss an upload. And you guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Everyone that continues to return and walk along with me in my garden, I want to personally say thank you. You guys, when I'm reading the comments that you guys leave down in the comment section, you guys, I am so overjoyed. And a lot of times, you guys, it's very uplifting to read those things. Just some of the inspiring messages that have been left with me, you guys, it just really just warms my heart. And I'm blessed to have you guys on this journey along with me. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.